Good evening once again to everybody. Welcome back to the SDP program. And you have had a good learning in the previous 2 days. Today is day 3. We are going to have a session today on principles of effectuation. Before that, I would like to take you across what has been done in the previous 2 days. Even prior to that, as usual, we'll start with a video and then we'll see about what was done in the previous 2 days, and then we start the session. So we will start with a small video to fill in enthusiasm and set the environment for learning. Is it audible, ma'am? Is it visible?
Um, Not yet, ma'am. The screen is yet to be shared. Yeah. Now, yes. Yes.
As far as I can see, as far as time extends, no soul was ever born outside this home. No heart has ever beat outside this song. When will we ever see that we must only be to feel the freedom of our unity? For in this great land we share a home, and in this great love a family. Vasudhaiva Nature has forged an unbreakable bond in all hearts and all lives. This love is our divine right, and nothing can take it away. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. When will we ever see that we must only be to feel the freedom of our unity? For in this great land we share a home, and in this great love a family. Yes, in this great land we share a home, and in this great love a family.
Yeah, on that note, this is again a musical video from Ricky Cage. We had shared another video yesterday. This talks about one family and one love for everyone. So on this note, let us start today's session. Yeah, a few points to be noted. Norms, again, I'm repeating for the certificate, you have to fill the 4 feedback forms sent after every session. So the 2 are over and the same link will be shared at the end of this session today. You'll have to fill the feedback for today's session as well. You have to complete an e-assessment that will be sent on the last day, that is tomorrow. and after which you will receive your certificate for SDP. And that certificate, you can continue to show it for your attendance. The first session when we started this SDP was on design thinking, which was done by Dr. Purushottam Bang, Director RVIM, who is also an innovation ambassador. The second session that was yesterday was on IPR for entrepreneurs, which was conducted by Professor A. Chandran, who is assistant professor at RVIM and also an innovation ambassador, IIC MHRD. So the third session is today's session, which is on effectuation for entrepreneurs. And this will be taken over by Professor Uma Sharma. We have Professor Uma Sharma, who is an assistant professor at RVIM, and she's also an innovation ambassador under IIC MHRD. A brief introduction about Madam. She has completed her BA, MBA, and MMM. Her area of specialization is marketing, and core area of teaching is marketing and general management. Her area of research and interest is in brand management. She has academic as well as industry experience of over 20 years. She has presented various papers at conferences, both national and international level, published papers of national and international repute journals. She has coordinated and organized seminars and workshops for faculty development and for students' development. She has coordinated postgraduate management diploma programs as well. Presently, she is pursuing her PhD in the area of brand performance from Mother Teresa Women University. I welcome you, ma'am, for this session today.
Thank you, ma'am. That was a great introduction. Good evening to everyone here, all the students and my faculty colleagues.
Ma'am, I also would like to welcome the another innovation ambassador, Chandran sir, who is also in the panel and who took a session yesterday. So
Yeah.
with that, I think I will give over the session to Uma ma'am to continue with her session. I am stopping the share and I will make you the co-host, ma'am.
Yeah. So can I start off?
Yeah, I have made you the co-host, so now you can start. Yeah.
Yeah. So very good evening to all the students joined here. So we will be doing the session on student development program, and that will be the fourth day that you are talking about. So basically, we are looking at a student development program, 4 days all together. And the last day to go, before that, we need to talk about certain things that we have already done, right? So after the brief introduction that Rashmi ma'am gave, under the aegis of RV Institute of Management, Entrepreneurship Center, Incubation and Innovation Center, we bring this program to the entire set of people who are participating with us. It gives me great pleasure to bring you this course and also be part of it, along with Chandran sir and Dr. Purushottam Bang, whom you have already heard. Much is awaiting for you when Rashmi ma'am, that is Professor Rashmi Shetty, will be coming tomorrow to talk and conclude the session on startup ecosystem. So before we get into and try and understand what the entrepreneurs in India are and what they are getting. So in that process, all the institutions and all the people in the ecosystem are putting their heads together to drive this energy of entrepreneurship in India is basically because we want to see you all young, bright, spirited Indians, yeah. So this is a crowd which we always have a lot of dream about. So even the heads of the state, like the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has been always telling us through his multiple programs, including the Startup India program, which is a coveted program. And in that, I don't have to say much when you already know, all of you all know, I think all of you already know that we are one of the best from Bangalore. So basically, we are well attuned to what are entrepreneurs, right? So I hope I'm audible to everyone.
You are audible, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. So this happens because we are on the screen share basis. Okay. So we are looking at entrepreneurs as a breed which is going to take the future development. Why do we say so? I hope everyone is with me when I say that entrepreneurs create a lot of buzz, not only in popularity wise, but also by creating a lot of eco activity. So the kind of economic activity which is attached to each of the entrepreneurial venture is amazing. The ricocheting effect and the kind of employment they create is almost 300%, they say. So immediate employment is close to 100%. So which means to say that for every enterprise which is started, there are close to about 99 to 100 employees being added to it. So which is not a mean challenge that the entrepreneurs are taking, because for any given point in time, a developing economy or a developing country like India would want employment to be the first thing that is which is addressed. At least the youth of India wants that to be, because after doing a very exhaustive education program, you would at the end of it want to take up a good employment and build a career. So entrepreneurship is not a very bad solution, is what everyone is trying to tell you all. So in that scenario, we are bringing this program and trying to tell you all that entrepreneurship is something that you need to watch out for. Yeah. So I hope the class is with me on this. So today's session, basically we will be talking about what is entrepreneurship and what is this effectuation all about. Okay. So my topic for the day is entrepreneurship and effectuation process. I hope you're all seeing the screen along with me. If so, just say, raise your hands and put it on the chat box and say yes.
Yes,
I have
ma'am.
known. Yeah. So, so basically, we'll be looking at what is this effectuation that we are going to use in the entrepreneurship process. So we'll be looking at all of these things slowly, one after the other. We'll be taking it up as we go by. So let me not take too much time off on this topic. Let me immediately go into the next stage. That is, we all have these facts and figures at our fingertips. We always see that entrepreneurship in India is always on a rise, and there's a huge amount of encouragement. Tomorrow you'll be hearing to it in detail as to what kind of encouragement comes from which corner and which area. Right, constant encouragement is there even at the state level, at the central level. So what is this encouragement all about, and what is it reading? What is the effect of the enormous startup program which each of the state governments are persuading, and even the central government is trying to put in place? So quickly, if you can read this slide along with me, everyone, you will see that the amazing figures, just Bangalore, Bangalore, which has a population of about 6 crores. I think all politicians tell you all that it is 6 crores, that is, which is the population of this metro. And now we have 4,900 people, which are the entrepreneurs there. And believe me, these are only tech entrepreneurs. We have not counted those fellows who are banyas, who are unregistered, who are informal. We have not counted those. Those which have registered and we have counted is 4,900. And I think you people will join me to count the rest of them, because that will be amazingly adding and multiplying to this number. So Bangalore closely, I think it will not be an assumption or a overwhelmed assumption if I say that if it crosses even 10,000, it's not a surprise. So 4,900 is a decent figure we can go by. And to a population of 6 crores, if 4,500, that is close to 5,000 people are already entrepreneurs, which means to say 5 to 10% of this a population has already gone up and become entrepreneurs. So there must be something which is riding this fire. I mean, there has to be something that the people are doing it in spite of we knowing that entrepreneurship is risky, right? So my facts and figures on the right side also of the slide will tell you that there are entrepreneurs, almost 90% of the entrepreneurial ideas which come up across the country in India are failing. 90%. Please read the numbers with me, 90%, which means in India in 2019, we had 50,000 new startups registered, which means to say just in 5 years from when they started, 40,000 of them will go out. Yeah. So 2019 had 50,000 new startups registered, which means 5 years later in 2022, we can expect, I'm not saying ill wishing them, it's only that this is the trend we are seeing. If we have enough numbers of entrepreneurs coming up, there are equal number of people who are falling out. Now that we have achieved this recognition of entrepreneurship being a very good place to be in, we need to also understand why are people failing and falling out. Right, class? I hope you're all with me on this. So this is where we want to stop, pause, try and think, and bring out lot of theoretical support. Those days are gone when you may have any of your family member, any close member, or a friend who has become an entrepreneur, has struggled through his life and gone down without even 1% of recognition. That's not the kind of story we have today of entrepreneurs, right? Today, entrepreneurs are handheld, they have been supported, they have been taken through the top for a long amount of support and ecosystem does exist. I would like to pause here for a minute. I think we have participants asking questions. I would like to tell you all that we will be answering all of this by the end of the session. If you have questions, please keep it posted. We will come back to you as and when we take up the questions, okay, in an orderly fashion. Okay, let me go back. So basically, we are looking at all these facts and figures which tell us that we don't have enough people going and achieving and trying to retain this growth that we already have, right? So because we don't have this kind of a retention, Rashmi ma'am, Chandran sir, Chandran sir. Okay. So basically, we are trying to tell you all that there are people who are losing out in this race of entrepreneurship, and there are ideas which have started off very successfully, don't retain, and they tend to fall out and they tend to fail. So now, why is this happening, and what do we do about it? So as I said, there is a lot of ecosystem created today for entrepreneurs to fall back, to get mentorship, to get counsel, and they can come out of even a failure or even a small setback that they've had during the process of their growth. This is what we are looking at. So basically, we don't want an entrepreneurs to start off and leave it halfway. There is good amount of packages, financial packages to restructure and re-strengthen them. There are enough amount of technical support given to re-strengthen their idea, remodel their idea, replan their idea. So basically, right from your business model and business plan and your prototyping, technical support and managerial support can be provided from the ecosystem created, from the institutions created, and they can take you forward in the journey and you don't need to stop. This is the lesson that we are trying to create in the ecosystem through institutions and organizations. In that scenario, in that context, there is multiple amount of theories and books and policies and information available to you to use as you become an entrepreneur and use it successfully, so that you don't tend to fail and you know where to go when you feel that you have to consider certain amount of support from outside. So what do you do for this support? So basically, whenever we are trying to understand the support, let's also try and understand which are these companies which are trying to fail out and which are the companies which are really becoming stars, right? So if you see on this slide, there are some of these companies like a Kingfisher or a Stazilla or a eBay. eBay, when we talk of it, eBay, the Indian enterprise, has lost out on the revenue that is coming from the Indian enterprise or the Indian subsidiary. So that's the reason eBay has stopped the Indian subsidiary, and they have rolled it back and taken back to America. So it's only functioning from America. The eBay function of India has been stopped. So whatever eBay you are seeing is coming only from America. Otherwise, we had a subsidiary which operated for the Indian market, brought out products and services on the eBay site only as required by the Indian market, but now it's not there. All of that is gone, right? So we had this problem even with Kingfisher Red, which is a low-cost airline. That also folded up because they didn't see this idea selling, and there were a lot amount of competition in the domestic market. So that's why they folded up. Now the entire brand of Kingfisher is gone. The Kingfisher Airlines is no more there. Same thing happened with a company like Stazilla, right? So these are the ideas which we say has gone down, but there are strong ideas which are still continuing to stay there. Which are those? Something like a Flipkart, which sold out and made a lot amount of money, $16 million for just selling out its brand. And not that the owners don't have control on it. They still have a control on it. Till about 11% is still held by the Sachin and Benny brothers. They both have still a good amount of 10% of control on the company. Same thing with Oyo Room. It has expanded, extended its idea, its business model. The plan has gone over across the country. It has gone to neighboring countries. It has gone to the neighboring continent. It has expanded. So you see business ideas growing and expanding. Same thing with Infosys. What do we talk of it? Infosys and Biocon are the stalwarts of startup programs, and they are the people who pioneered this energy of startup to start in India. Though they were tech driven, they are companies which have consolidated, which have become mega empires, who have rolled down business model, which has been taken, copied, and been successful across the world. So these are things which we can closely watch out and make our businesses something like that. So there is no shortfall of motivation. There is no shortfall of ideas. We are simply saying that how do you take your idea to the next level? It should not stay bucketed as an idea. It should transform as a product or a service, deliver to the customer, and the customer should enjoy and should relate to your product constantly and hold on to your product for ages, years, and generations, so that we become a Hindustan Lever someday, so that we become a Tata someday, so that we become a Birla someday. Please don't forget, they were all first generation entrepreneurs few decades away, right? So we should not lose out that we tend to fail, yes, but that doesn't mean that it cannot be revived again. That's the whole story that I bring to you today. So in this entire next 40 minutes that is left out, we'll be looking at what should we do to keep our ideas strong. Okay, we may not become entrepreneurs immediately, but this is a knowledge set. See, now you're in a learning school trying to take your learning. So we want to give as teachers and as counselors, we want to give you all that you can take as learning now. You can't come back and enroll in a program and then start saying, I learned this when you're stepping into becoming an entrepreneur. Because you will have certain other things to learn on your hand when you're trying to become an entrepreneur, right? So here in this learning mode, we want you to also learn that if I fail, if I have a drawback, if I have to overcome a certain obstacle during my entrepreneurial journey, what should I do? Where do I relate to? What do I talk about? What do I think about? How should I train myself? So for all of that, as I told you, there is a lot of theories involved, and that's what we are going to come now.
Ma'am, I
Yeah,
think
ma'am.
some of the students are not able to see the screen. If you
Okay.
could stop and reshare it, I think
Okay.
that would be fine.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this looking okay, ma'am? Okay, yeah. Rashmi, ma'am, I request you to launch the first poll. Is that possible? Yeah, I request the students to see the poll on the screen now, and if you can submit the polls quickly.
Yeah, students can answer the polls, the questions.
Yeah.
You can see the poll. Yeah. Some more have to vote.
Yeah.
So please hurry. Ma'am, I think some of them have network issues.
Yeah,
So
they were not able to see the poll they were saying. I
yeah,
think we can stop end poll.
Yes,
Shall
ma'am.
I do that?
I'll do it, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. You can see the results.
Yeah. So basically, we see that first one, you all said that voted for strong, successful entrepreneur. So basically, you say that the idea is what is driving a successful entrepreneur. I think yes, that's what everybody supports. So idea generation method, you say problem solving, a creative method. I think any of that would be an answer. That's fine. That's why it's divided. It kind of confused you, I think. It's okay. So what is that? But generally, if you see the idea generation method, which is accepted nowadays, is basically towards creative method. That's what is going to involve and bring out the customer-centric program or a customer-centric idea. So that's the reason people involve a lot of creative methods to generate ideas. So that's why we had given that option. Okay, and good entrepreneurial idea, that is always talking about 80% of it as basically working for commercial success. Yeah, that's fine. So I think you have a sense of what we are trying to go ahead with. So I would not want you to answer the fourth one correctly, but you have done it. And time required for doing a good idea, not predictable. That's excellent. I think we are on pace. So this was just a poll to try and thank you so much, Rashmi ma'am, for doing that poll.
Yes, ma'am, you can continue.
Yeah. So basically, let's get back to what we are trying to see. So the poll told us that a successful idea can take the entrepreneur to a greater height. So that's what we are looking at today. So there is one Miss Saras Saraswati, a professor of foreign university, but very much Indian, and who is a professor at Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, and is always emeritus professor at Darden Business School in Virginia University, North America. That's where she comes from, and she is the person who has proposed this concept called as effectuation. So what's this effectuation? Let's read it on the slide as you can see it. Effectuation can be anything that involves logical thinking and uniquely serves an entrepreneurial idea generation and starting out an entrepreneurial business. So a logically driven out business idea which is implementable, which is realistic, which can be taken to the market. So please mark my words when I say effectuation is trying to derive the idea in such a way that you can take it to the market. That means to say that it is easily commerciable. So whenever you're talking about an idea that can lend meaning to a user, that's what is effectuation. So she told us in a very practical, very logical, very easy way of understanding how to make your idea very commercial, how to make it relatable to your consumer, how to make it relatable to your market, how do you make your price worthy product, make it
Ma'am,
affordable to people. Yeah.
ma'am, there are a lot of requests that screen is not clear.
Okay.
Screen share. There's some box that has been seen. So if you could again
Okay.
reshare it.
Okay, I'll do
Some
that.
gray box is visible.
Okay, maybe it is lagging. Now is it clear?
Yes, it is clear now.
Okay.
Yeah, participants can raise your hand. Is it clear? Okay, yes, it is clear, ma'am. You can
Okay.
go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, we are looking at effectuation as a logical process to take the idea. So please don't confuse it to idea creation or idea generation. Once the idea is ready with the entrepreneur, how do you take? We have therefore, so when we say that effectuation is a process of helping the entrepreneur to take the idea to the market, which simply means the theorists, the counselors, the educators have found that entrepreneurs find it difficult even to convert the idea from the prototype stage to the commercial stage. Yeah, so there is lot amount of intermediate stage even to that stage between prototyping and commercializing, testing and commercializing. So that stage, in between that stage, that penultimate stage of the ideation process, even there is lot amount of sub steps. So that's what we are trying to plug with effectuation. So if you're all with me, let's see what effectuation is not. So effectuation will not help us in planning. Please don't believe that it will give you a fantastic plan, it will give you a model, it will give you a framework. No, because effectuation by itself is very peculiar. It's a principle, it's a process. It helps you to understand how better to understand your idea. That's all. It helps you to become more friendlier. It helps you to become more critical about your idea, draw out all the things that you can't do without your idea. The things that you can do with your idea, you will only hold on to that and might be take away all the drawbacks of your idea and present the pure idea and take it to the market. So effectuation is principally, so read the right side of the slide along with me. So effectuation does these things. It's a thinking framework. It's a heuristic. Heuristic means anything that can be done intuitively through a lot of method which is evolved personally. On your own, you have created a system and you want to use it to applying to take your idea to the market. Then please do it. So that's something which you're familiar with. You know that by your gut feel that this idea can be made into a commercial model only when I follow these sub steps. Please do that. That's what is effectuation. Principally, effectuation will make you do. Are you all getting it? Effectuation should make us do. And what? Saleable products. So please stay with me as I take you to the next slide. Yeah, so basically, we'll be looking at a lot of doable things. So let me take you to a small story of this lady who is setting up a health store or a health cafe in America. And let's see what she did and come back to effectuation again. So I want you to closely watch the video and don't see just what's happening in the video. Just listen to her story, listen to her talk. I hope the class is with me. So I would be stop sharing this screen and trying to put on the video screen.
This is where it all got started. Had the food cart out here serving healthy sandwiches rolled in pita bread. At the time, it was called.
Is it audible, ma'am?
It is, ma'am. It is audible.
Okay. Thank you,
Stacy's
thank you.
Delights. When this company started, it was really started out of a passion for making great food. Coming from the West Coast back to New England, there were not a lot of great healthy food options. When we first started baking the pita chips out of the fresh bread that we had every day, we just handed them out to the customers as an incentive to stay in line. People just loved them. It was almost like a happy hour atmosphere. We always used fresh ingredients, so people knew when they saw Stacy's, it was just a brand that you could just automatically trust because you knew what was in the bag. When it comes to the ingredients and the quality of the product, there weren't a lot of baked snack foods out there. One thing about Stacy's is the product is always baked and it's never fried. A key turning point for us was when we started to bake our own bread. This way we could truly control the quality of our main raw ingredient. When you walk into the store and you see your bags actually lined up on the shelf, it's a great feeling. You start to realize we're now a part of people's everyday life.
Stacy came into my store about 17 years ago and asked if I would consider selling her pita chips. And we're still selling them today.
This brand was never about myself. It's never about Stacy. It's about all of the people that were involved in making the chips and bringing the chips to market.
Stacy's is successful because of the quality and care that we have for our products. You know, all of our employees want to make sure every chip that comes out the oven is perfect for our customers.
This company was really started out of a passion to do something that I love to do every day. One thing I've learned is that making great food choices doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice taste or flavor.
Yeah, so back to our slide. Yeah, so basically we are looking at how Miss Stacy starts her center, her small eat out center with pita chips. I think it's a corn chips that we always eat here as snack. Same thing that they eat there as sometimes as lunch also. And then went on to make pita bread. But the only distinction, I hope you've all seen that, that only distinction, though she started with a humble store, then it goes on to become a major chain of stores. And she also adds on products to her store. Her entire health restaurant starts talking about health as a central aspect. She talks about how chosen ingredients, well screened ingredients only are used and added in the products. And she never fries or deep fries, she only bakes her products. So all these were concerns which came out of the market she was catering to. So that's what we are trying to tell you. If she was a normal, any other restaurant which opens up after 100 other restaurants, though it's in a foreign American country where people have the habit of going to restaurant, even in such markets, she may not have survived. Yes or no, class? Basically, you will not have people becoming successful with the same idea. Consumers are also wanting and they are hungry for something which is very distinct. So if you see in the example that we have taken, this is one of the principles that Saras Saraswati, professor of Darden Business School and Indian Institute of Management, Bangalore, tells us that through the effectuation process, you can bring in all those aspects which you can want to give it as a difference in your product to your consumer. So you can show that care to the customer by saying that I care about your health. Though you come out and eat my food, I will be cautious about the kind of product I'm delivering. That's what Stacy's restaurant was trying to do. It was talking about alternative health. It was talking about alternative food and very healthy food. So this is what effectuation does. Effectuation makes your idea more concrete in what? Trying to take the idea to becoming more realistic rather than being very, very distant or trying to be very, very moved out from the reality. It's not touching the people. It will definitely touch the people when you're going through the effectuation process. So very quickly, so at the end of the effectuation process, this is what I'm going to give you. Yeah. Yeah.
There is a Vishal has raised his hand.
Yeah.
Vishal Kumar, I've unmuted you. If you have questions, you can go ahead, unmute yourself, and you can. I have enabled you to speak.
Yeah, Vishal, you want to say something?
You can unmute and ask the question. Okay, ma'am. You can continue, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, we are looking at this idea of effectuation, trying to give us yeah. So basically, at the end of this entire effectuation process, we will be coming out with good ideas. We'll be concrete on our decision of that idea that we have taken. We'll make decisions that are much more best or better for the good of the people, for the good of the entrepreneur, both of it. And we'll be using a lot of stakeholder commitment in terms of trying to co-create, trying to have a model which is much more coexisting or trying to involve other peers who are also doing or looking at similar ideas. So how do we do all of this? That's what is this model trying to deliver. So let's quickly go on to the model very fast so that we have enough to...
How do successful entrepreneurs discover?
So basically, these are the 5 stages this principle brings out. So there is, this is not a hierarchy. This is not something like you have to do first this and then only the next one. So it's not a very process driven thing. It's not either a hierarchic thing. So it's just a principle. You can use any one of it. You can use all the 5 of it. You can drive all these things once your idea is clear. Okay. For example, even Stacy's. So how can you better it? If she asks you, if she comes back to you as a MBA management students, if she comes and brings her case to you and asks you, I'm Stacy, I'm doing this health shop in USA, how would you want me to improve it? So would you take her to the crazy quilt principle or a lemonade principle or the pilot in the plane principle? You could do any one of it as what effectuation says. So you could pick any one of these processes which would best apply to Stacy's idea for scaling it up, for growing it up further, for developing it up further, right? So very quickly, let me put on one more video and then I will explain this to you because that gives you a better scenario. I hope you're not bothered too much of my stop sharing. I will stop the sharing, go back to the video and come back again.
Any issues, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am. This video I'll have to play. 1 second. I'm just screen sharing.
Yeah.
Who'd founded multiple high-growth ventures to find out what they had in common.
We can view it, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. You can view it and it is audible.
Okay, great.
Please go
Thank you.
ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
A compelling picture emerged, the notion of effectuation. This recognizes that the entrepreneurial journey is more than just taking the most efficient path to an easily defined future. It's a process of exploration. And when you're exploring, objectives change, with new facts from the market and with new resources. The best entrepreneurs balance decisions between the resources at hand and affordable losses. Sarasvati, with Professor Stuart Reid and others, captured effectual entrepreneurship in a process diagram. It uses 2 feedback loops to help develop your value proposition. The loops allow you to test your value proposition on your customers and key partners, and to course correct your idea as you rerun the loop. The clarity that this process provides can help you move from thinking about it to actually doing it. A good start is to concentrate your meagre resources and invest what you can afford to lose. The centre of the diagram shows the process of exploring the idea. Each stage helps to define the proposition further. You, who you are and what you know. What you can do, your value proposition. People you know represent your first potential customer segments. Very early feedback can end a poor idea, but it can develop a good one. Begin to search for stakeholders, further bolstering your network. This track can lead you to acquiring greater means to pursue your idea. Your new insights and competencies develop your key partners, key resources, and key activities. Or it can result in a completely new set of goals, reshaping your value proposition in the light of this learning. The first loop is complete. As we go round the loop, we talk to customers, dump bad ideas, grow stakeholders, and iterate goals. Collating this information works in 2 ways. It refines your product and your knowledge of your customers. A network growing through referrals and recommendations greatly increases the reach of a new venture. Building such a network can greatly help a new business reach wider markets. Through this activity, you make your ideas real. And ultimately, a new firm, a new product, and even a new market is created. That's the process of effectuation.
Yeah, so I hope you can see the screen back again now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, this effectuation process, as you heard in the video also, when Saras Saraswati, professor of Darden, talks about it, she clearly states, as we say, it's the idea which could be the goal of the entrepreneur, taking it to becoming a better product and reach it to the market so that it becomes a successful story. So here the entire idea is to make the entrepreneurial idea very successful and not to go back and recreate an idea. We are not going to do that, but only trying to rectify it, critically analyze it, see whether it will be accepted in the market, have a lot of market understanding, consumer understanding, and deliver it to the market. So that's where we are. Okay. So in that process, they say that either start, so the effectuation process can be done in any one of these 5 ways. So either you adapt a bird in hand process, that's the first principle that she talks of. And the second one is affordable loss, or otherwise the third one, something called as a lemonade, or fourth one as crazy quid, fifth is pilot in a plane. Practically, all these are looking very fancy, very descriptive, and very easily used words. We use this very differently in different contexts, but it has a lot of sense when it comes to the entrepreneurial process. That's why she has used such words, because it is relatable at the first instance. And as we go on using it, we understand how it can adapt even to the ideation process of the entrepreneur. That's the reason these names are given. Please don't go just by the name and start assuming things around it. Okay. So let's go one by one. So we say that this is a principle. Okay, so this is my slide which talks about the bird in hand principle, and you suddenly see MTR also along with this. How many of us know MTR? Can I see some hands coming up? Oh yeah. That's nice. It's going on 20. I would want to see how many know about it. I think most of us are happy hearing these words which are very close into our ecosystem or in our society, right? Principally, people who have walked around the world are happy to always talk and understand about MTR. So we are referring to a company called as Marvelly Tiffin Room. And this is a small, quaint restaurant. If you actually walk to the road, if you don't know this place, you may even miss it. So it's not a kind of a landmark. It doesn't expose with glittery walls and nicely done doors, and there's not a chauffeur standing around, an usherer standing there and trying to usher you in. It's a very simple, normal South Indian restaurant. But what the best thing is the delicacies that you get on the table as you settle down and start wanting to eat. Right? So all those people who have not come to Bangalore and staying far away from Bangalore, please put on your menu, please put on your itinerary list to visit MTR when you are here in Bangalore. Yeah, I will take the raising hand of Mr. Sheikh. I understand, yeah, when he comes to Bangalore, maybe he would visit MTR. Thanks for that. Yeah, why are we referring to MTR? So to cut the story short, this is a story of a person who starts out. MTR was not the same MTR in 1920. Can you all imagine? Even I can't imagine, because this is almost 4 decades before my birth, right? So I can't even 5 decades before my birth. So 1920 was a time when MTR started. So now closely they are 75-year-old and more than that. So basically you're looking at a legacy of a restaurant. It's a small restaurant. It gives food only. So the product per se is not that distinct. But what they deliver, something like Stacy's pita bread, she exclusively gives you only pita bread. Something like that, MTR gives you all South Indian delicacies. You want rava idli, you want upma, you want masala dosa, you want filter coffee, you want exclusive South Indian menu being dished out to you in the best of the exclusive aromas, tastes, and distinct style, which is very typical of South Indian. This is the restaurant to go to, right? So it has etched that space, it has created that niche, and this was started long back in 1920 when Egna Narayana Malliya, the Malliya brothers, walked out from their hometown somewhere in north part of Bangalore, Karnataka, and they came to Bangalore. And this was purely to earn their livelihood. Mind you, they did not think of being entrepreneurs. They wanted to come and take job in Bangalore because their place did not give so much of job opportunities. They were looking for jobs. They wanted to get employed, but they became employers. How? The story is on the slide, and many of us who know MTR can tell our own stories. So that's not the point. The point is where they started and where they have reached. So please read the first line of that story and the last line of the story. 1920, brothers start out with idli and coffee being sold, and about 50-60 years down the line, they have restaurants across the world. Can you imagine idli being sold in Europe? They are selling the same menu in a European restaurant. They are selling the same menu in a Dubai restaurant. They are selling the same menu in a Malaysian restaurant. These are the places that they are in. Can you imagine? Isn't that commendable? And that's what an entrepreneur can do. You can create your own ecosystems in the places where you travel to. How did this happen? That's surely make it happen attitude. That's what Sara Saraswati says. There are different instances. When MTR started, they did not know about effectuation. But I'm practically, with all knowledge, literally using MTR to bring this concept to you basically because we can relate it to any entrepreneur started whenever, maybe age old. Even still we can relate because this has happened. Now we have documented that, tried it, tested it. Now we have theorized it and brought it to the new entrepreneurs. So please learn. You don't have to go through that process of what Yagna Narayan Maya did. You don't have to do that trials. You can simply land up starting up the restaurant in all locations of the world. You can simply end up in the last stage of what MTR is in right now. So all their 60 years of experience is brought down to bird in hand. I hope the class is with me on this. So here the entrepreneur is trying to build an enterprise with all the means and resources he has within himself. So only that resources and those kind of means which we already have, we possess, or we can have access to, we can have it in our control, we have the opportunity to have it with us. Use only those. Derive your idea out of those and make it relatable to the consumer is what we are saying. So the time and age in 1920, none of them stepped out of the house to go to a restaurant and eat. Not as many people as we do today. Going to a restaurant is a very, very habitual behavior to an Indian today and not in 1920. So, but still at that time they started out. So bird in hand is a concept which tells us that entrepreneurs, if you don't have any idea, if you don't have multiple sources, if you don't have the venture capitalist backing you, but you're passionate about a particular idea, you should not destroy the idea just because nobody is supporting. You should hold on to the idea, find out what best you can do about the idea to take it to the customer. That's what we are trying to tell you. So let's go to the next one and come back to a few more examples. So affordable loss. So what's this? This is something for all those entrepreneurial ideas which have the capability either because they are professionally trained or because they have a good amount of employees or people who are partnering with them. They have certain capabilities, they have certain technological expertise, they have certain things already built. They have worked on the idea already, they know certain things are available to them, but they don't have too much of maybe a real estate space. They don't know where to set up their production unit or their offices, or they don't know where to get the other resources from. So in such kind of entrepreneurs, you can still drive the enterprise and the idea and reach it to the customer with what is available to you in terms of what you can give. So you have a set of people, you are professionally qualified, 10 others are also qualified. So create a product which can showcase that technology, which can showcase that professional quality, which can showcase that professional knowledge that you have. Start sharing with the limited number of people that you have and see that then it gets acceptance and move it to larger people and then take it to a larger set of ecosystem. That's what we are trying to say. So that's what Biocon exactly did. Kiran Majumdar Shah is a biologist. She is a biochemist. And she started this enterprise called as biopharmaceutical company in her garage with 10,000 rupees. What was the gut feel? What did she invest? 10,000 is not a big amount even in 78 to start a biochemical factory, a company which can manufacture biochemicals, right? So garage is not a big place, correct? But in spite of that, she knew that it was a drawback for her. She knew that the money is not being available to her as a drawback, but she knew that she has the biggest asset and that's her qualification. With that, she went forward and then created $56,000 million rupees company today. It's a multinational company. It's a listed company. It's listed on NASDAQ. It's listed on Indian BSE and NSE. It's a 50 Nifty 50 company, right? So you have it as one of the largest examples that you can go by. So here we are talking about a different kind of investment from the MTR Maya. MTR Maya invested their skills in cooking. Biocon invested technical brilliance, technical knowledge, professional knowledge, and then brought out the product, right? So affordable losses is trying to gauge how much that your idea can bear. What are the pluses and the minuses of your idea in such a way that if you work on only the pluses, will the minus take over it? No. The pluses or the advantages of your idea will take your idea forward. That's what we want to say. So put your ideas in such a way, in such a place, to such set of consumers who can take the idea forward for you. That's what we are trying to share here. So that's what this second principle of Saras Saraswati effectuation process talks about. So let's go to the next stage, that is lemonade. So it's not that squeezing of lemon and making a juice, but literally it's not that, but metaphorically, yes. We would like to use up all the resources that we have, put that in place, and there are certain ideas which gets complete backup. So today's entrepreneurial ideas have good amount of support, we are saying. So this is one of the examples of the idea which got a lot of support from the investors, from the banks which gave them loan. So let me introduce you to the person who founded this. I think everybody knows. You would have seen him everywhere. Everybody uses Paytm. Can I raise hand? Get some raised hands for this. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Thanks for that. So Paytm is something which we cannot live without today. Can you imagine lockdown days without Paytm? No. With social distancing coming, Paytm is the solution, right? So how brilliant Mr. Vijay Shekhar was when he said that I will make your money cashless. You can walk around with your phone and no card, no ATMs, no withdrawing, no debiting, no crediting, just a swipe, and then you are done with it, right? So literally sit in your car, go to a takeaway store, book your pizza, get your cola, swipe your phone, and you are done with the payment. The lady will smile and say bye. That's how the world around us is. Say the Westerners are already into it, we are also getting there. So people, entrepreneurs like Vijay Shekhar has made our life so brilliant and beautiful. We sit back and use these things very easily. I'm just taking an example of Paytm. You have MobiWake, you have so many, our own alumni has come out with Easy Pay. I think Rashmi ma'am will tell us more. When we have chance, we'll bring him on. Actually, there are many people who have come out with such solution. So why is that Vijay Shekhar sir's Paytm is so important for us to explain lemonade principle of Saras Saraswati? Because he came out with this idea, went to those relevant investors. So this is also a challenge of an entrepreneur. Keeping your idea and struggling with it is not the point in today's ecosystem. You have to go out, approach, pitch your idea, get your people's acceptance, and get your investors to come in. So this is also a knack which entrepreneurs need to learn fast. I think people are doing it, and they know how to pitch their ideas and get the people done to invest in this. So now Paytm is on the 4th round of investing. They are good amount of, please read the slide. He has failed thrice before becoming a Paytm owner. Paytm was his 4th idea. Can you just imagine, this man failed thrice. He's from
Ma'am,
IIT. Yeah.
Ma'am, I think that gray box is again popping out.
Okay, I'll just
screen
stop and share back,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thanks for that. Yeah. Now I hope it's fine.
Yeah, ma'am, it's fine.
Yeah. So Vijay Shekhar sir actually failed thrice. Excess communication was one of his, which fairly did okay. But after 3-4 years, that also had to be wound up. So then Vijay Shekhar sir brought this Paytm, and today, just around demonetization, they picked up, and they are the best e-gateways today, e-payment gateways today, basically because of the kind of securitized securitized payment options that they provide to the users. So basically, you need to work out on a brilliant product. When we say brilliant, he has taken into consideration how an e-payment gateway in India should operate and what are the things that the consumer requires out of it. It should be easy on payment, securitized, and there should be no any kind of hindrance, cumbersomeness in ease of use. So ease of use should be maximum. It should be seamless transactions. So that's what they wanted, and that's how they have delivered it. And today they have 250 million users, registered continuing users. Yeah. So this is just practically in 5 to 6 years that they have started. And today the revenue of the company is 3,567 crore. And this is considering even their payment system. That is, they are a small time payment bank. So payment bank services plus the e-gateway services, all of that included, their revenue is 3,567 crores. These are all facts from their own website. So please refer back to the sites. So Lemonade, according to Saraswati ma'am, is if I have this idea and if I do this to it, what will happen? So this is a person in a situation who is in a do or die situation, who wants to say that I have to take this idea to the market. He would do anything to see that the idea goes to the market. So he would go to any investor who is ready to listen to his idea. He would do anything to improve and deliver it to the customer. He would do anything unique to the product to make it as a surprise element to the consumer. That's what we are trying to see it in the Lemonade. You can, for this reason, to make your product much more customer centric and easy on use, you can partner with anyone under the sun. Maybe you have to do this by talking to people across the world, then you should do it. Technically, you should partner with some other educational institution or an incubation center or a government body or a government institution. So be it, partner with them and go ahead and bring out the idea. So this is about driving your passion and getting it out there. So Lemonade is a principle of trying and using any possible way and resource to get your idea to the market. So this is also something which works fine, is why we are bringing it here. And Mr. Vijay Shekhar did the same thing because he had to click as an entrepreneur. He had no other go. So let's go out of the country and let's step into the world of Silicon Valley. Facebook, I have to give you no introduction. Everybody knows about it. But the person behind it, Mark Zuckerberg, we also know him. He did this as a project at Harvard University, launched it. And the best part of it is now, when Facebook has the best of the acceptance as a social media partner across the world, and today it is partnered by Microsoft. Can you imagine? All Microsoft products is driven through Facebook. Yahoo uses it as one of the social media partner. And WhatsApp is bought by Facebook, and Facebook is using WhatsApp as one of the instant messaging partner, and therefore it has consolidated its position. Yeah. So basically, Facebook is a complete story for the next principle of Saraswati ma'am's effectuation, that is Crazy Quilt. So Facebook, when it started as a project in Harvard University, as a Silicon Valley project, it was limited to that ecosystem, that country, that market. But when it traversed the world and started having users across the world, then it started scaling. To scale and grow and become a substantial business, they can't do it all alone. So they had to create a Crazy Quilt. They had to quilt. I hope everybody has seen. There are patchworks of multiple things. So that's how it is. We are referring it metaphorically and saying that you have to have multiple partners, multiple alliances, so that they help you to become a better company, better service provider. Yeah, I have some raised hands. Once I
Arvind?
finish,
Arvind,
yeah, Arvind and Gautam, and there are a few raised hands, I think.
yeah, Arvind, I have enabled you to talk if you have a question. Yeah, Anil Kumar. Anil Kumar, I have enabled you.
I think it's okay. They are just
Yeah,
saying
maybe.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Facebook is collaborating with its multiple partners, not for joke, not for fun, to just scale their business, to see that they are much more relatable as a product to the consumers. And we all know that in the internet age, in the AI age, trying to have a product which is even 2 years backdated will not work. We have the story of Yahoo with us. So basically, we have to be very much trying to give what the consumer wants. So in that phase, Facebook is trying to collaborate with multiple people and reach out to all sorts of consumers. People who want to use a TikTok, they have that service. People who want to do only instant messaging, they have that service. If they want the official gamut of softwares that Microsoft has advantage of, they can give that also. So Facebook is trying to be with everyone that matters in the digital era. So they want to, they should not be discounted and seen as a flimsy social media instance or a product which is on the sidelines of a social media platform. So it's not just like that, right? It's a rich C2C platform, and every other business wants to take a good advantage of it. That's what they want to position themselves, and they continue to do that with these kind of collaborations that they have. So effectuation can also be for those kind of companies which are already into their idea, they have taken it to the market, but there are some of these companies and ideas which want to do it when they want to start growing. So that's the time we don't leave the entrepreneurs in the mid sea when their ideas are already in the market. We can encourage them further and try and scale their business for the next 10 to 15 years or 20 years or few generations later on. So for that, something like a principle of Crazy Quilt is very important, where this brings out that co-creation, partnering, collaborating. These are the jargons that you can go forward with. Trying to collaborate with any other partner who can try and build on your product is the way forward. Yeah. So quickly to the last and final stage of effectuation. And here we come back to India again, Flipkart. So what can I say about Flipkart? I think this is an amazing startup unicorn that we have. We like it, we fondle it. I think anybody who wants to become an entrepreneur aspires to be like Flipkart, right? Can you imagine you start a company, you start selling books, and then you go on to selling multiple things, you become a shopping point, something like Jayanagar or something like Commercial Street, virtually on the internet mode. And Flipkart suddenly gets a call from Walmart and says that they are ready to buy you. Can you imagine the world's biggest e-com site coming and trying to bid for you? That day would have been the day when Sachin and Benny would have decided that their day as entrepreneurs is really done. They could have folded up the shop, sold out all their stakes, gone home, and rolled on the dollars that they have got. But they didn't do that. They had their entrepreneurship spirit still going. They have sold to Walmart. They have made a good $6 million, 16 billion, I'm sorry, $16 billion is what they have sold Flipkart to. But they have not lost control of the company. They are still holding office. They are controlling the Indian operations. Though the rest part of it is driven by Walmart, the sourcing and the kind of product which goes on the site is definitely done by Walmart. But Flipkart control is still with the Bensal brothers. right? So how do we do this? By doing this principle called as pilot in the plane. Now everything is done. You have complete control of your idea. It's in the market. People have accepted. You have got fair amount of laurels to yourself. You have succeeded. You're accepted as one of the successful ones. Revenue is there. So that's when you start controlling and trying to predict what it will be in the future. Try and get into much more subsidiary mode, start off, diversify. That's where you're going. So this entrepreneurial journey, which started with a small idea, has grown into a mammoth scale. It has become a multi-corporation in practically a decade's time. Such kind of an enterprise, when if it was started before the millennium, I think it would have taken fairly 50 years. Like the Tatas or the Birlas, which took 50 years to come to where they are, Flipkart has done that journey in practically 10 years, which means the scale of operation that they have achieved in 10 years, if they can apply that same effort, what would they be in next 10 years? The amount of subsidiaries they can plan. That's what pilot in the plane says. If you have reached that stage and phase where you can control, now it's not about much of controlling, but also about not losing control, but predicting. Try and emphasize and bring out multiple diversified ideas, are aligning the ideas, are trying to bring in similar ideas in a different market. So adapt your model into multiple places across the world. See whether it is playable, it is successful. So this is what we want the entrepreneurs not to stop their journey anywhere. We want them to proceed and go forward. That's what the principle of effectuation deals and delivers and tries to keep the entrepreneurs motivated, that every single bit of their idea can be taken forward. There is no need to fall back. There's no need to step back and try and see that you are not going anywhere, right? There's nothing that stops people like this, right? So this is what all the stages are trying to say. Each of it is distinct. Each of it is a means. So this is what is the culmination thing. Everything, if you have referred back to that video also tells you the same thing, that every single thing is a means. So every entrepreneur who is sitting in that ecosystem will understand that you have all these things set as your means, and any of these can be your means. Something like the affordable loss or bird in hand or a crazy quilt. You can start up from anywhere. You can adapt any of these principles to your idea. Yeah, I hope everyone is with me. So effectuation process, if you put together, you can put your means and resources in a particular place and organize it either through the principles, through all the 5 principles, or pick any one of the principles and adapt it as your means. So which means to say that affordable loss, bird in hand, lemonade, crazy quilt, or the pilot in the plane, any one of these things can be your means to take the idea from the prototyping stage to the commercial stage, which can be done by co-creation. That's what is the ecosystem. Tomorrow you'll be hearing a lot about, in our next session tomorrow, you'll be hearing how to use this ecosystem. Very important. Yeah.
There was an interesting question right in the beginning.
Yeah.
I just saved it for the end.
Good, ma'am. Yeah.
The question was, what is the difference between effectuation and the other approaches?
Okay. Yeah, brilliant. Actually, yes. Effectuation as a process, I told you in the beginning itself. If you want to, when you say other methods, if you're trying to talk it to the first topic that we did in our series of lectures of design thinking, or if you want to compare it to the entrepreneurial process itself, or you want to talk to or compare it to any of the processes like the creative thinking process or the problem solving process, effectuation particularly is distinct or I would say it would lend to the entrepreneurial process, basically because this is going to plug the gap between the idea generation process and the commercial process. Trying to make the idea commercial or trying to reach the product to the market, the gap which is there, that felt gap, that researched gap, that gap which always existed and bothered the entrepreneur, because there is enough amount of teaching and theory to tell you that what kind of an entrepreneur you should be, what kind of characteristic you should have. We have enough kind of workshops and theories to help us do this, and many entrepreneurs have themselves written books on this. But still the problem is how to create a very good successful idea and how to make the consumer buy it. This is where we get stuck. Okay, so that's why when Rashmi ma'am came out with this series, she was concentrating on all these topics basically because this is where the problem lies. So this is where we innovation ambassadors have been asked to address, that we have to identify those monitoring aspects or those mentoring aspects of an entrepreneur where we can lend our hands and try and handhold and take it forward. So effectuation comes in that bit, like taking the idea journey into the market. Okay, so making it a feasible product. Once you have generated your product, how to take it to the next level, where to get your finance, how to remodel it, if there is any problem with our prototype, which part of the product has a prototype problem, where do I identify, who are the people who will help me to identify the problem in my prototype, should it be technically driven, should it be consumer behavior driven, should it be coming through the consumer interaction or the technical interaction. These kind of small nuances is what effectuation is trying to bring you to, right? So this is why this principle has got like a wildfire. I would want all those who are interested to go on to this particular website, which is www.societyforeffectualaction.com. Right? So this is a site which goes on for effectual action, which is run by Darden Business School itself. So it's a society of people who believe in this effectuation process. If you want to know more about it, something like if you want to know more about design thinking, you need to go to ido.org. Something like that, for knowing more about effectuation, the multiple cases which have been handled, counseled and mentored with the effectuation process, you can refer back to this society called as Society for Effectual Action, which is under the Darden Business School. Yeah.
Ma'am, can you read the link, or if you can put it in the chat box?
Yeah, I'll do that. So this is one of a very interesting societies, which is called as Society for Effectual Action. This is the place you need to go to find more about. You will be knowing more about it from that society. There are enough amount of information about effectuation, about Saraswati, how to learn it. There are programs that they are driving there. There are case studies available instantly. You can use any of that, right? So we are looking at any kind of co-creation, any kind of means that we use and build a co-creative atmosphere. Try and bring on stakeholders, collaborate with the stakeholders, and drive your enterprise to be a pilot in the plane. We want all entrepreneurs who are driving their ideas to get into this mode of pilot in the plane, get hold, get control of their idea, make it a successful venture, and come back with multiple similar subsidiaries and see that their business model is followed and looked into in multiple places. It can be adapted in different ecosets and economies. So that's how we want you to grow and be, right? So this is what it is. So now I'm ready to take questions. If there are any. Rashmi ma'am, I think I have talked enough.
Yeah, any questions regarding effectuation, you can raise your hand or in the chat box.
If there are any, I can.
There was a general question which we'll take in the end, but any questions related to effectuation? To the principles of effectuation, we are, ma'am is open to take the questions. I think, ma'am, there are no questions.
Okay, fine then, ma'am.
So that one question, the difference was what I posted, and there are no other questions. There was a general question asked in the beginning of the session by Ms. Ponam. She was saying that how do we, since we want to become entrepreneur and yet, okay, there's a question here. Okay, sorry, before taking up that question, we are getting some questions now. So Shashank is asking, what if we have an idea and how to approach technical team for the product?
Okay. So if you have an idea and that requires, I can go ahead and answer, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So basically, if you are looking at any kind of technical support and if you are very much within India, there are a lot of institutional support handed down to you. You can carry your project and walk into TechSoft. This is one of the technical support institutions in Karnataka. Like this, you have state-driven. TechSoft means technical support for Karnataka entrepreneurs. So this comes under the state government. So this is a very technical body which is looking into trying to approve projects on the technical criteria only. So TechSoft is a body for this state government. TechSofts are available at the state level to every single small scale industry or the small scale department of every single state, right? So similar like what we have in Karnataka it's called as TechSoft. So basically you have the similar thing available in all other states. So every SISI department has this. So you can simply walk in there and take good help of them. So whatever be your technicality, whether you're driving a software project idea, if you are driving a biotech idea, if you're drawing the electrical, electronic kind of a project, they will generally help you on any one of these projects. But if you're particularly looking at any kind of technical support in a particular field, then you may have to go to those specified associations and technical bodies, which I may have to be getting back to you and get to answer once I know what kind of product you are looking at, whether it's a software, whether it's a biotech, whether it's a textile driven, engineering driven, we need to understand that. So one more thing that you have asked in your question is, how does effectuation help there? So effectuation applies randomly. It doesn't specify to any other product category, idea category, regionalized, geographically regionalized way of looking at this principle. No, it is neutral to all of that. You can add this and adapt this principle to idea coming from any part of the world, whichever stage of entrepreneurial journey it is. The ideation process could have gone through many failures, but you want to come to effectuation and try and drive up your idea. You have kept your idea latent for the last 20 years. You want to revive it and bring it back because with the effectuation process, all of this is possible. That's why first itself, principally, I told you that this is not a hierarchic model. This is not a framework model. This is not a process-driven model also. You can use pilot in the plane first and then say that might be my idea has not got that enough control. So I will draw back, I will concise, I'll refocus and go back to my core centric business value. I will not do all the fanciful value adds to my product. I will give only the core product. So you can draw back and refocus back. So you can draw back and come back to bird in the hand. So that's all possible. So that's why it is called as effectuation. At every single stage, you can have the effects coming out, or the outcome can be generated at every individual stage or every individual principle. This can be adapted, neutral to any idea, neutral to any region, neutral to anything. An idea you have, please go ahead and use this. Yes. Yeah, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
I hope
Yes, Rakshita. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can
Rakshita.
differentiation also be used in companies, or is it useful only for entrepreneurship?
As of now, see, I'm not a practicing person. I'm a theorizing person. I think it's a good question, Rakshita. Maybe we have to find people who have put it in use in a company. No, but we are using this principle basically with entrepreneurs. We can use it with intrapreneurs. If you're looking at companies co-hosting and cohabiting entrepreneurial ideas within their company, welcome, they can use it. If you're using a organization model which allows SMEs, for example, ITC does use effectuation without their knowledge, but they do use. So any company which has too many SMEs and they want to, if they have SBUs, I'm sorry, if they have too many SBUs in their organization, they can use effectuation. That's a nice thing. Yeah, Rakshita. They can use, if you have a SBU system, companies can use effectuation.
Thank you, ma'am.
As of now, we don't have documented proof to prove any kind of use in the corporate world. I hope I have answered that.
There's a question on, I think they didn't get clarity on bird in
Bird in hand. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. So let's go back to bird in hand. Maybe should I put it up? Yeah, bird in hand. Basically, what it means is you are an entrepreneur, you have an idea, but you feel that you just have an idea. That's it. And this idea is invested in not too many people also. I don't have another partner with me who is trying to accept in my idea, or he is putting his mind to my idea. There is not a team of members who are thinking alike on the same idea. It may be some individuals or just an individual trying to push an idea and trying to make it a phenomenon for the market to accept. So everything looks very, very hazy. It's not a very structured entrepreneurial journey where you have too many people already partnered into the idea. You have people trying to support it, trying to run it, or trying to invest on it. Nothing like that is there. It's a very hazy picture. You just have the idea and only you are passionate about it. You want to drive it. You want to take it forward, right? Something like that. For example, let me take this crazy idea of Richard Branson. I think everybody knows about Richard Branson. He's a person who owns the Virgin brand, Virgin Airlines, Virgin Music, Virgin Hosiery, Virgin this, Virgin that. You have many things. This is an American company. They are actually airline company, basically. So what this man has is he has invested his money in the recently launched rocket. You all remember there was a rocket launched with people into the launch where they want to try moon travel, people's travel to moon. In that, Mr. Richard Branson has invested his money, and he feels that that's a very good thing. So space travel is what he believes in. And he has invested this money about 2 decades before. And it's not even a reality now. It's just an idea with few people are working. Few scientists are trying to make it a reality. The first capsule, the satellite has just launched, and we don't know how much of it will be true. I think there is one, they call it as cloud or something. That satellite is getting ready and they want to test it and drive it. But it's still at a very, very infant stage, an idea. But it's an idea which people have invested on because they passionately believe space travel can become a reality. Something like that. We don't know whether this will build momentum or it will stay as an idea. So bird in hand is something which is very hazy, a picture, hazy an idea. And only the driver, the entrepreneur himself has that ability to make it a reality. The person who is driving it only has it because no resources are attached to it, no means are attached to it. There's nothing that is driving it to the goal. Are you all clear? So bird in hand is a place where you are trying to be much more single-handedly driving an idea. That's what Maya brothers did. So when they started out, nobody was even interested in going to the restaurant. But people queue up today. That's a different matter. That's because they have worked towards it. I hope I have answered that.
Ma'am, there's another question.
Yeah, ma'am.
What are some of the critiques or shortcomings of effectuation? Are there any
Brilliant.
shortcomings? Yeah.
Yeah, they are. I would like to go back to that slide so that you can see it. Effectuation is not. So many people confuse it to becoming a planning process. Many have used it as a system. Many have used it as a logarithm. They stick to it. They go by saying that, okay, first I'll take my idea through the process of bird in hand, then the crazy quilt, then the pilot in plane. Not necessary. Saraswati ma'am is pretty easy on these principles. She says that you adapt it to your system, you adapt it to your idea, come back and tell me. That's why on the right side of this slide, you will see that it's a set of heuristics. People who are on the research world, academic research will tell you heuristic is a word used to very, very typical and very, very personal way of adapting a framework. Okay, something like you do your habitual routine every day. Every day in the morning, you get up, even I get up. My getting up is different from we all sleep and get up. But your getting up is slightly different from my getting up at the age of 50, correct? I think we did. You dream and get up. I get up with a loud shout that the daybreak is there, right? So we have a process of delivering a day's plan in a different way. Similarly, effectuation says that you can build your heuristics. That is, you can build your own trial and error bird in hand. You can create your own system of piloting the plane. There can be somebody else coming and saying that in 6 months flat, after I put out my idea in the market, I could pilot my idea. That's great. That's good. That's how they have set out their objective. If I have my objective that I'll put this idea out, in 5 years I'll sell it and move on to another idea. There are serial entrepreneurs who are doing it. You cannot say that they have not piloted their idea. They have. Because they have achieved their goals and objectives. That's what we are trying to say. Right? So effectuation principally is trying to make a distinction by saying that we are not going to give you a prototype to follow. Please build your prototype, but these are the things which can happen normally. Usually, typically, this could be the things that you will see is what we are trying to tell you. So heuristic means try and bring out your own normalcy in each of these principles and adapt it to your idea. And tell us that experience. We will add it to effectuation process. So I would suggest everyone to go on to this society called as Society of Effectual Action. It will pleasantly surprise you. It is a very cohabiting space. It's not a space which will tell you do this, do that. Nothing like a framework. It will not scare you off. It will make you one friendly partner there. and you can share your ideas. So I would see, these are all theories which are still evolving. Saraswati ma'am is still there. Anybody can walk into IIM, and when she is here in Bangalore, you can talk to her. So it's like that. She has given this idea to us, and we are all happily using. There are many entrepreneurs who have used it successfully, and they have posted their ideas in. For example, Stacy is a case from Society of Effectual Action. I've taken it from there. This is a case from her, from that society. So you can see more of that there. Yeah, I have to talk to anyone.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm Shashank.
Yeah, Shashank.
Ma'am, my question is, what if I don't have any resource to develop a prototype before reaching a technical team?
Okay, you don't have any? I didn't get you,
Resource.
sorry.
Prototype of
Okay.
proof of concept.
Okay, you just have it as a blueprint, you just have it as an idea which is written down, documented, correct? That's what you're
Okay.
saying. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't have a model or a prototype.
Yeah, yeah.
We
No,
are
that
happy
is-
with that.
That is what it means. Proof
Yeah.
of concept. If you don't have prototype, you will have proof of concept. Either prototype or proof of concept is needed. So
Yeah.
whatever ma'am said just now, blueprint and written format, it is proof of concept. You can go ahead with proof of concept also.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some more hands raised, ma'am.
Okay.
I think Gautam, you are unable to speak. You can unmute yourself and speak.
Ma'am, send your feedback form, ma'am.
Yeah, we will send it in the end. Any question on the session?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
We'll be posting the feedback form, ma'am. If we have the can I do that?
Yes, ma'am. You can put the link.
Yeah.
And there is one number, unknown number, 30D. You have unmuted. You have any question? Okay. Okay. I think Shruti, do you have any question? Okay. No questions, ma'am.
Yeah.
So
I'm posting the link here.
Lal Kishore Mato has sent a question, how to use the principle of effectuation for entrepreneur. I think the entire session was about it.
Yeah.
So ma'am had explained in detail how to use
Yes.
it. So maybe
Yeah.
if you want more clarity, you could
They can talk to me on mail.
yeah, on mail. I
Yeah.
have shared the mail of incubation center. I'll put it up again.
Yes,
And
yeah.
also you could go back for the uploaded videos when we upload it.
Yeah, that is a brilliant thing. Yes.
And you could also, on Facebook also we were live. So if you go to RV Institute of Management page on Facebook, you will get all the sessions as of now. Yes, and tomorrow when we have a last session, we are going to put up all the videos and PPTs for your reference. Yes, so you can go back again, and still if you have doubts on application of effectuation for entrepreneur, you can always get back to ma'am through our center. So I think the link is put up. I have put the email ID of incubation center. It is incubation.rvim@rvei.edu.in. You can always reach out to us. We have also shared the link for feedback form. If there are no questions, I think it's time to say thank you to Uma ma'am, Professor
Yeah,
Uma,
ma'am.
for
Thanks a
taking a
lot.
wonderful session. It was a really brainstorming session, and a lot of things you have highlighted on how to apply effectuation and the different principles of effectuation with very good examples and video. Ma'am, do you have any polls to go?
Yeah, last one poll is there. If you could put it on, ma'am. Shall I do that? Shall I do it?
Yes,
I can.
ma'am, go ahead. There's
Yeah.
a last poll. You can just answer that poll. Please fill in the poll quickly and then and there was, as you are filling the poll, there was a question, a general question from Sonam. She asked, how do we change the mindset? Because we don't have entrepreneurial mindset in society. So how do we bring out the entrepreneurial mindset?
Yeah, that's a huge exercise. Initiating the entrepreneurial idea in an individual can be done either individualistically. I mean, it could be a passionate person who wants to drive himself entrepreneurially, basically because he has a passion or he has a family backing trying to tell him to become entrepreneurial. So it could be any of these instances. Or otherwise, the person is trained. So you could put yourself through institutional training. You could take courses. You could become a well-trained entrepreneur, launch yourself after a diploma, take a course online. There are multiple places where online courses are available today. So you can self-train yourself, get that mindset, get out there and start your ideation process. So either way, this works today. So that's what the next lecture tomorrow would try and help you to do that, where you will understand how even though you don't have the entrepreneurial mindset ready to get there and go killing, you could always train yourself to do it. So entrepreneurship is not a thing that, like we used to say, it either has to come in your blood or you otherwise don't become a businessman. That's not the story anymore. There are people who either have an idea and therefore want to become business people, or there are people who have business skill and they want to adapt an idea. Either which way, if you have identified to have any of these things, you can train to have the other which is lacking in you, right? So that is not a far short thing. There are systems in place today which can help you to get this mindset. And I think you should not feel if you don't have a mindset, it doesn't put you or it doesn't offset your plans. It should not offset your plan. I think you should train yourself and go there and take up an entrepreneurial job or a enterprise. That's what my answer would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 670. Sorry, 170.
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah.
So the result is.
Yeah. So almost 90% say effectuation is a logical process. Okay. That's what we wanted them to get and understand. So affordable loss, they say 65% is this. Actionable ideation. Okay. That's brilliant. Fourth question gets 77%, where you say that effectuation helps in growing the idea. If you have registered that, then I think this session is wonderfully driven. I think I have got your answers there. The process of effectuation was proposed by nice. Thank you. Please follow Saraswati ma'am on the society which I told you. They believe in her and all her works are put up there. Please read it and imbibe something. Though you're an entrepreneur or not, such knowledge does help us. So
I think.
Hello.
Yes.
I need to thank.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Gautam, tell me.
Ma'am, feedback expired. Can't you say?
Sorry, you're not audible.
Yes, ma'am. Feedback form is expired.
No, the new link is sent. You can fill in that. Another link is sent. Ma'am, can you just resend it again?
Yeah, I have sent it, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Another link is put. So please, you can click on that link. There's another link. You can click on that link.
नहीं हो रहा है मैम.
Okay, I will give him. I have received 300 responses, ma'am. I think he is not. I will give him again.
Yeah.
Gautam, please use this link, which is there now in the chat box.
Yes. Another link is shared. Please use it. So on behalf of everyone here, I would like to thank Uma ma'am for taking such a wonderful session. I would like to thank all the participants. You were a great audience today, and I think we had a good time in all these 3 sessions. So we will be back tomorrow on ecosystem of entrepreneurship in India, and we will be having that session, which is the last session tomorrow. All the PPTs and videos will be uploaded after that. And also you will get an assessment form at the end of the session, which you will have to complete and send it by Saturday, after which you will receive your certificate. Yes, so you would have successfully completed this student development program, which is a certification program on dynamics of entrepreneurship by tomorrow. And after completion of e-assessment form, you will receive the certificate for the same. Yes, and as I had announced yesterday, we will also be sending you the link to your email IDs for Coursera license, where you can undertake courses on design thinking or any other courses. Our institute has taken the license of Coursera. So if you take up these courses, it will be free of cost for you. Yes, so this also we'll be giving it by tomorrow to you. Yes, so with this, on this note, I would like to say thank you and sign off for today's session, and hope to see you tomorrow again for a fresh session and the last session of this SDP. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thanks to all the students who came here and all the participants who came here. Thanks a lot to Director Sir here, Dr. Purushottam Bang and Rashmi Ma'am and Chandran Sir, who made this and supported me to
Technicians
deliver this.
Manjunath and Ashok.
Yeah,
for having
Manjunath
made
and
the
Ashok
support.
also. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Rashmi Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. So I'll be signing off and
Yeah.
letting this meet. Yeah, thank you.